Oi, gente, bom dia, tudo bem? Thank you very much, muito obrigada for stopping by. In today's video, I'm actually gonna go through of how I budget and explained my process to zero-based budgeting. It is actually 4 a.m. I have just dropped my son to work and I'm still in my pages, but I know this is going to be kind of a longer video and I just decided to use the opportunity to have a chat with you, explain you the process, my tips, and while the kids are sleeping. So how I budget, I already started to write and let's go through that. Okay, let me see if I can actually, hopefully you can see, I can zoom it. Okay, so how I budget. When you are starting your budgeting journey, you need to look at your income and you need to look at your outcome. When I'm talking about an income, don't include things you're not 100% sure you're gonna get. Like for example, unfortunately this year we didn't get any bonus for Christmas from my work. And last year we got 500 euros. So if I would be budgeting this month to have the 500 euro, it would completely mess up my budget because it does make difference if you do have 500 or you don't. So you only budget the things for sure you kind of know you're gonna get, okay? When we're talking about your outcome, we are talking about your expenses, okay? And I will break them through because I do add my outcome, my expenses into a categories. So your outcomes, your expenses are your fixed expenses and your variable expenses. The fixed expenses, it's like rent or your mortgage. You may have a set bill phone, things which is fixed on regular basis. So for me, the way how I look at my outcome, I'm looking at as well first 4 kind of main pillars. That's my main expenses I need to pay. And that's a rent or a mortgage for people who own the house. That's a must. Okay, I need to pay my rent. I need to ensure that we have a roof of our head. Okay, did I say that correctly? Yeah. Okay, I didn't have my coffee yet, and sometimes English is not my first language. So if I say things other way around, I hope you get a point. So it's the rent. My second thing I need to pay is I need to have a food, okay? My groceries. I need to provide food for my children. I need to make sure that I know we have where to sleep. And then to ensure that we stay in a warm place, I can cook for them, we need electricity and gas, okay? So these 2 utilities. Electricity and gas, okay? Now, the 4th one for me, because I am working in an IT industry, I work 99% at home. So for me, the important is to have a broadband. If I don't have a broadband, I cannot work. So for me, the main important thing I need to ensure I get my income right and need to ensure that my household function, it's broadband. Now, again, this is different. Those 3 kind of goes for 90% of people, let's say, okay? But the 4th one can be different. So you always look at your expenses, okay? You're looking at your situation and apply to it. I'm just sharing with you how I budget. So for before, if I didn't have to work from home and I have to use a car or a transport to go to work, this won't be really important to me. It would be the transport, okay? So you alter to your situation, but these are the pillar which I need to pay in order for me to kind of survive, to have the basic. The way how I look at, when I started budgeting, I printed out 3 months of statements, 3 to 4, I think I printed 4 months of statements. I took a simple highlighters or a pencils, well, this is just a few which I grabbed. And I categorize them to a categories to see where my money actually goes. I was a girl who used a tap, pay everything online. And sometimes I did not realize how much I overspent and where actually my money went. So that's the first step I did. I looked at my income. In order to look at my outcome of what I pay, I print 3 months statements where I went through and I said, okay, this was a Starbucks. I prefer Costa coffee. So we're like, okay, this is your coffee, this is your outgoing, this is your food, this is whatever, wherever you went, TJ Maxx, and you highlight it and you see, then you categorize them and see where your money goes and where you can work on it, okay? So the way how I categorize my expenses, it's household, and in household, I would include my rent, or for people who own the house, it's a mortgage. So it would be rent or mortgage. Then I would have their utilities, so like your gas, your electricity. I would have the broadband. I would have their trash. You provided for your trash. And what else do I have in my household? I do have a category, a household, which includes like, all your like, washing liquids, toilet paper, whatever you need for the household. Then my next category, I would look at a transport. I do own a car, so I need to make sure that I have a diesel for my car. So it will be my diesel. It will be my car insurance payment. I pay car insurance monthly. Then I would looking at my daughter does swimming, and where the swimming is based, we have to take a toll. So I need to count for that expenses. Also, she does use a public transport to go to school. So I have to top up her leap card. In Ireland, we use a leap card where you top up. So I calculate the amount of journeys she goes. If I pick her up, that's fine, but I always need to ensure and consider if she goes every single day, Monday to Friday, the 2 trips, this is how much she needs for her leap card. So that's or in my transport. Then I will be looking at the food section. And in food section, we have our groceries. Then we have here, if you have your, takeaway, your eating out, the category. And also for me, I do have a little baby. Well, he's 2 years old now. He does eat every single food, but he loves his formula. So I have a section for him called Rico's Expenses, where I consider his formulas, his nappies, and his wipes, whatever he needs for that part. Then I have a section category called Personnel. And in Personnel, I would have my personal expenses, okay, whatever that may be. For each person is to their own. And then also I would have here my section for hair, like everything including haircuts. Rico is like his dad, his hair grows so quickly, and the haircut costs you like over 20 euro for the little one. So I need to make sure we budget for that as well. Then my daughter, it's a mixed baby, so she does have very curly hair. And in order for them to be moisturized and healthy, it's not just a conditioner and shampoo. I need to use a special product. And if she does wants to have her hair braided, it does cost money. So I will have here like hair care, their haircuts, and as well I will have here like my skincare or our skincare, body care. So that will be in the personnel. Then we have health, and in my my stuff here, I have like a long term and a short term. So the long term, I do have a health insurance. Now I don't have health insurance with this current employee for all my family. It's only for myself. So, but even though I do have the health insurance, if we need to see a GP, the doctor, I need to pay, and then I get very little percentage back, but I get nothing for if let's say my daughter is sick. Because I work, I don't have medical card, I will have to pay everything all by myself. And in Ireland, you do get a free GP visit for kids up to 6 years. So my little one will have like his GP card, but everybody else will have to pay. So I need to make sure I have like a long-term and short-term. And I did mention this before, I had an injury on my leg, on my feet. So I need to have my nails cut really professionally, you know, to make sure I don't get any ingrown toes, because they will just get infected very easily. And that's pricey as well. So I have to budget for this kind of short term medicals. The same like if you need anything for a subscription, or you know, you have kids, you always have Nurofen, Calpol around. So that will be the short term, and the long term, it's, you know, just save it for your health insurance or any, God forbid, any emergency. Then this category, for example, at the moment, it doesn't apply to me because I don't have any debt. I'm debt free. However, I will have a debt next year because I am going to do some medical procedures where I will need lots of money. So I will include debt. But for people who have debt, you will have a loan section where you specify your credit cards and all your, you know, whomever you own the money. So you will just list them down. Then I have a section for subscriptions, which includes whatever your subscription is. I'm a lover of books. I love reading. I collect books. I will try to remember insert image. So I was I had a monthly subscription for books, but it's not anymore my need. So the way how I look at when I'm trying to narrow it down my expenses, I need to learn differentiation between what I need, okay, and what I want. Okay, so those two type of expenses. Do I really need my book subscription? No, I don't. It's something what I want. Do I really need that Izumiyaki perfume, which is on sale for 80 quid? No, I don't. It's something what I want. So when you come to budgeting and you come to cash envelope system, these are the things you will ask yourself. Do I need that? When Income Babes have a sales on her website, Etsy, in her Etsy store, do I really need a new envelopes? Or do I really want? So you kind of then basically ask these questions. And these are the questions I always ask myself. So the subscription here, it's for me would be my Netflix and my Disney. I certainly don't need both of them, but I don't have currently an expenses for my son Rico because there is no space where I live for a crash. He has to wait until next year in September. So the only thing which he has is actually literally like, you know, channels and try to have something entertaining him at home. And I'm happy I can offer, I'm happy to pay for both of them. But if you're trying to narrow it down, then you go through it. Maybe I can keep just one, okay? So that's kind of, because your expenses, remember, you have fixed and variable expenses. So you can try to maneuver with the one which is like variable, like, you know, the subscription for your books. Or do I need both Disney and Netflix? Or Prime, you know, Amazon Prime. So you kind of make that your own choices. For example, Spotify, I cancel it because it's not something really I need. I'm happy to have the Spotify, you know, without the pain, or use the YouTube. Subscriptions, so whatever subscriptions you have, you list them down and see where you can narrow it down, okay? I also sometimes have here added, there is called like a Littlewood Island, I think they call Very.ie now, and basically it's a provider where you can shop, you get your budget limit, like for me, I think I asked for $350, and you can purchase things without paying in advance. And then you just, let's say if you spend €100, then they will break them for you to pay €30 a month. If you don't pay on time, they are very high rate. So to avoid extra fees, always pay on time. So I am not always using it, but I had that and I still have. If I need something urgently and I check their website and they have it, I will then use my credit there and pay that way. So I will add that in my subscriptions. I still call them Littlewood, even though they call Very now, but that's just something where I will add it. And then I will look at my expenses and see what else do I spend money on. And I will literally list my extra, okay? In subscription, I forgot to mention, my daughter does swimming and I do pay every 10 weeks. So it's not like, let's say every 2 months. So it's not every month, but I will divide that amount for a month and I will ensure that it's like a subscription. I need to keep 50 euro every month for her to ensure she can continue her swimming. So I will add it here, or you can add it in your extra, okay? Whatever kids activities they have. Or if you have, for example, you budget for, you go lots of thrifting store, whatever it is for you, shopping, you can kind of budget it there. So this is how I look at my income, my outcome. I look at to make sure I pay my main expenses and then I categorize them. And always now I look, whatever it's left, you know, I would be before tapping and spending. Now, no. I look at the whole year and I look what I need to pay. So for example, we do have a transport section, right, where I mentioned before. So let's just for example take that category, transport, okay? So we have our transport. So I need to make sure I have money for my diesel, okay? My car insurance. These are things I pay monthly. However, you do need to maintain the car. So your car expenses, okay? What are in car expenses? Do you mean it's just like a car wash? You can basically name it down, okay? You do need to pay for, in Ireland, it's called an NCT, which, you know, they check your car to ensure it's able to drive. For the newer car, you're doing it every 2 years. So let's say last year I haven't done it because there was no need for it. But this year I'm due my NCT. So I need to also make sure that I have my service done. And let's say, do you do service? Depends on how many mileages you do. Do you need to do 2 times in a year? Do you need to do 3 times in a year? That is up to you because you know how much do you use your car, okay? So you need to budget for that. You also need to budget for, so the NCT car registration, for the services, and of course your road tax. So this you pay yearly, this you pay yearly, and this you pay yearly. So let's say if your tax is 200 euro, okay? Let's just grab the calculator. So if your tax is 200 euro, you divide by 12. You know you need to roughly 16, so let's say 17 euro you need a month to save for your tax, okay? So this is kind of how you're breaking down, and that's where the sinking funds are coming. I divide my sinking funds into high priority, low priority, and then high priority long term. So that's just one of the sections I need to look at, and that's where my sinking funds will be, where I will have my car expenses. I can show you, I think, on this one. Okay, emergency. We know who followed the Ramsey that the 7 baby steps. One of the steps is emergency. You need to have an emergency, and he suggests to have minimum of 1,000 euro. So in case whatever happens, you get a flat tire and you don't have money saved or something, you use it for an emergency fund. So that's my high priority. It's to build up again towards the emergency fund. So when I'm budgeting, whatever I have left, I always ensure I try to put something for my emergency. And that's my sheets. And then here is my car expenses, okay? So in my car expenses, that's where I will be looking at, okay, I need my NCTs. I think the NCTs, it's 6 euro the fee around it. You have to pay and book yourself. Before that, you need to ensure that your car is serviced. So that's expensive and depends on your car. Then let's say your tax is 200 euros. So you need maybe, let's say, 600 euro here and 200 euro for your tax. So you have 60 for the registration. I'm not sure if you can see. Yes, you can still see. Then you have your 600 euro, for example, right? This is just an estimated 200 euro for your tax. So you need 860 yearly extra for these, which should be in your fund, okay? So I need to budget to ensure I have that covered. And you break it down. So like my NCT is due in May, but in January, I need to ensure my car service is done. So I'm focusing on the car service part, and then straight away, I will try to add more to ensure I have the enough fund for May, okay? So I don't touch my savings. That's the whole idea. And what else I have here for my high priority? It's the medical and gifts. That's not really a high priority, don't mind that. So that was just an example. Another expenses which you can have as sinking funds is, for example, TV license. TV license, okay? In Ireland, you do pay TV license. It's 160 euro. Okay, and my one is due in September. I didn't budget for January, so now I have to budget, let's say, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and September. So I have 8 months. So I divide 160, divide 8 months. So I need to make sure when I'm budgeting next time, doing my budget, I have to include 20 euro towards my sinking fund for TV license to make sure in September then I have enough cash, I don't touch my savings. So the zero-based budget means you give purpose to every dollar, every euro, every pound, okay? So if you, just an example, you have your income of 5,000, you look at your expenses. Now, what I did when I started, I literally highlighted, okay? So let's say the household items, okay, I picked the wrong. So let's say household items, I would, let's say, highlight this color. So when I was going through the statements, I would highlight. So as I mentioned here was your rent or your mortgage, okay, your rent, then your broadband. That's just an example. The categories I mentioned, which I have, my household section, right? And then your gas, etc., right? I would then go through the statements, and if I see, okay, my rent is paid, my broadband, and I will highlight those, and I could see, oh, these are the sections I use for my household. Then I will take a different color for transport. Okay, they're literally the same colors, guys. Sorry. So I will then use whatever yellow, you know, you color coordinate them. So when you look at your bank statements, you can see where you spend your money, okay? I noticed that my extra was lots of spending money on books, even though it was a small amount, but they just added up, or unnecessary like cosmetics and stuff like that. Just extra want, not extra need, okay? And that's where you kind of brainstorming with the colors. It's really helpful from the start to see, oh, okay, this is how much I spend on my household. This is how much I spend on food. Or let's say if your food category, it's whatever, different color. Okay, guys, this color. Then you, okay, we're just going to highlight it this way. And then you see, oh my God, in my category, I have so many takeouts. So I need to work on that. So it's really eye-opening to see this way. So definitely try that. Anyway, so if your income is 5,000 and then you look at your outcomes, for example, and your outcomes could be 4,500, okay? I'm just doing example and an example. So you have remaining 500 euro, okay? When it's on your account, it's so easy. Tap, 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 and overspend in your extra categories or unexpected, okay? So what you do then, you then look at your sinking funds, your high priority. Okay, I need to work on my emergency, okay? That's just an example. It's whatever it's important to you, okay? And then, for example, for me would be build up my emergency, build up my car expenses. That's my high priority. And I also do, not now, but later, it's a month ahead, working on a month ahead, okay? So that's again for another video. It's to try to have a buffer. So buffer could be one of the high priority. So you then work it out and you see, okay, how much I can put here, and the rest create it in your lower priority or high priority long-term sinking funds, whatever that is for you. So my lower priority, I have a binder here where I create, okay, these are the saving kind of challenges. Sorry, I will talk about them in a minute. You know, like lower priority for me now, this is my high priority long term, like the retirement fund. My lower priority could be, let's say, my travel, right? Expenses for my travel, for my transport. But where is my, oh yeah, guys, I forgot. My son gifted me a new binder and I mixed up, I changed my binder. So my low priority would be like, for example, right now back to school, because my daughter go back to school in September. Right now, she has everything what she needs. So this is not my high priority. It's my low priority. I will try to focus on it maybe in March or April, okay? So these will be moving from high to low. And then at the moment, Black Friday, it's something I want to have money for next year, for 2024, but it's not my high priority right now. So it's in the low priority, but when it comes to maybe June, I will move this section to my high priority. So you alter them to the way you want. Candle. I am sucker for candles. I love them. Is it something I need or is it something I want? Low priority, okay? And guys, I put Etsy because I love supporting, and this is something I always think of. Supporting others, you know, small businesses, local businesses, whatever it is. But at the moment, it's still a low priority, okay? Because it's something I want to do. It's not something I really need, okay? Like my personalized, beautiful personalized envelopes from Bet. I will link her down below. Or these beautiful trackers, like a bubble tea for my kids. It's from unpetitbudget. And not to mention Income Babes envelopes, right? Again, something I want, not something I really need, because you can start the budgeting without having all these, I call it essentials, but it's not really essentials. You don't really need all this. You just need a plain envelope and that's it. You're ready to go. Another beautiful tracker, unpetitbudget. She gifted me this. So this is how you divided your low priority. And that's also where the saving challenges are coming from to build up towards your goal. I made a video of the financial goals. You can check it out, or I will try to link in the description below, where you're breaking down of what you want to achieve. You need to know what you want, how much you need for your financial goals. Are they realistic goals? Or yeah, I want €1 million, but yeah, how I'm going to get that 1 million, you know? So you realistically look, what are your goals? And break them down of how you're going to achieve them. For example, I need 10K to boost my savings, right? Towards my house deposit. So how I'm going to achieve that? I'm going to break it down towards the 1 week challenges. I do 52-week saving challenges. And these saving challenges, you can get them from Income Babes. I will link her Etsy store below. I do €5 saving challenges, €10 saving challenges. I have my 1K saving challenge, okay? So you break it down, your saving challenges, which then can help you to, the same way, like I love this concept of having these 6 envelopes, which are from unpetitbudget, and you save €100, okay? And you break it down, and you have €700, which goes towards your big main goal. So you break down the goal, and you create saving challenges. That's why you have a binder for saving challenges. So this is how you then allocate that €500. You put maybe, let's say, €200, just an example, toward your high priority sinking funds, okay? So your €200 will go there, and the remaining €300 you put towards the savings. And the way how I am, if I have the cash divided in my envelope, right? So I have my purse, I'm using 2. I use this one where I have my, you know, like my diesel, my household, my saving challenges, and I will explain this in a minute, what it's there for. Or I carry it in my purse this way. And I have my groceries. I went to get the groceries, so I have it there. And then, you know, Rico's, because I need to get something for him, it's there. And I carry it with me. And I then don't overspend because I know I'm zero budgeting base. So every euro has its own purpose. And you try not to take from one envelope to other. I did that before, but I'm trying, that's mean I look at my budget and I see, oh, I did something wrong, right? If I try to then take from one envelope to others, means I'm not budgeting right. And this is where you do, when you budget. So I do this budgeting 2 days before my payday. As I mentioned, I budget monthly because I get paid monthly. So when you're looking at your budget, right, and you're looking at your expenses, you write your expenses here, whatever your household, and you list them, you know, whatever your rent, etc., right? You write your budget amount because you need to close your budget end of the month to see how you have done, what you have saved, how much you have spent. Then you do your actual. It is important as well, I would suggest, it's you track your expenses. So I break down, so I budget for a week, for a month. So I will have like, okay, I know I'm going to pay 2,000 euro, for example, for a rent. And this is actually how much I pay. Then you have, let's say, when it comes to your groceries, right? Groceries, you budget roughly how much you need. So let's say you have 1,000 euro, okay, for your groceries. Okay, that's your budget. And then what I do, I will divide this into 4 or 5 weeks. Depends on how the longest month. So let's say for the sake you budget 250. So I will literally have that 250. Sorry guys, I can't write. 250 ready in each envelope, and that would be for my cash budgeting for the week. Then you track your expenses. So when you then look at your expenses, you then go end of the month and you see how much you have spent. So I do my expenses weekly. So I will put, let's say, when I do, let's start from here. You will have, let's say, January, and you will go 01st to whatever the 07, okay, whatever that week it's, the first week, Monday to Sunday. And then you list your expenses and you try them in a categorize, and you then can see where the money goes, okay? So my actual would be 2K because that's how much I pay. But in groceries, you may be on track and you budget and you spend the 1,000, or you may just spend 900 euro, okay? And that rollover money, what I do after, I check every week, I look at my end of the week. If I had anything extra, like I have extra in diesel, so what I did, I know I'm not gonna need that 20 euro because my tank is still pretty, like it's halfway. So I then put that, where is my purse? In my, instead of spending, I roll over them and I put them, oh, sorry guys, I put them into my saving challenge. Okay, so I move the money, keep 10 euro just in case, but that rollover 20, the 10 are divided, and I put it in my saving challenges, which is not planned, that's just there. So you can do, either you put it in your buffer. It's up to you how you're gonna do then that 100 euro. Do you wanna keep it in your buffer? Do you wanna roll over for the next week? Or do you wanna take them out and spread them across your saving challenges or sinking funds? So that's up to you. However, if you see that you spent 1,300 euro, then you're asking yourself, where did I have too much takeout? So you then be able to then negotiate, kind of see and brainstorm, oh, okay, I went way over my budget. If this happened my next month, you go over the budget again, then that means you're not budgeting enough, you're not budgeting right for that particular category. So the next time you budget for the next month, you need to increase that amount to make sure you're not running over, okay? So this is why it's important to track your expenses, break down them into groups, and then close out the budget end of the month or week, whatever it's for you, to see what's your budget, what's actual, and where you can improve and where you improve. And this is basically how I budget. I give purpose to my money, to each dollar, each euro has its own purpose. And I look at my monthly budget and I see the spread of the month. Do I have a birthday coming up? Or does somebody has an anniversary, or I need to budget for a gift? You plan for it to make sure that you all prepare. And as I said, you don't go over. You don't have your account in minus. You try not to use your credit card, but you budget zero-based budget. You give every euro, every dollar a purpose. I know it's really a long video, but I really hope it help to someone to, who is new to budgeting. I am new to budgeting. I'm still learning, but this kind of what works for me. And I managed to save. I had a big expense of an emergency, and I managed to overcome that by having the cash divided. And just to highlight note on that, I only withdraw the cash for the things I know, like the food, personnel, and the things which I pay online. So I list the online transaction. My rent, I pay online. My gas, my electricity, I pay online. So I don't withdraw that money. I leave it on the account. I need to ensure it's there. I have sufficient funds for these transactions. But for food, I leave some amount online just in case I need to do an emergency, like for example, not an emergency, but I need to do online shopping for food delivery. I leave that. The rest I withdraw, and then I am in control. Okay, so I really hope, I'm sorry that again it's a very long video, but I try to use the opportunity, well, it's 4 a.m. well, my little one is asleep, and try to explain and hopefully help and inspire others. So thank you very much again. Hopefully, if you finish till to the end, give me a thumbs up or write in the comments that you managed to listen to the end. Maybe you can write an emoji, a love heart, then I know you have listened to me till the end. And I wish you an amazing day and stay safe. Fica com Deus!